Just gives me the shivers. That song.
Good. When you had to pick 8 pieces of music, was that easy to get down to it?
Really impossible to do. So I keep thinking, I've done this a few times, and I come back to more or less the same. I've made one change tonight, but same artist, but a different song. And no, it's just really hard because I sort of sit here and I think, no, why haven't I got any Elbow? I really like Elbow. But you've got to choose songs that really speak to a moment in your life or have a resonance that's beyond just, well, I really like listening to that song, haven't you? But yeah, there's quite a few that I could have had that I would have had. Can't believe there's no Mozart in here, but there we are. What can you do?
Yeah, what can Mozart do? And Together Alone, I mean, would you be any use on a desert island?
Oh, really not. I think I'd have a go. I think I'd sort of make a good fist of it. If I've watched enough Bear Grylls programs to sort of try it out. But no, I'm not not one of these guys who's going to be there lashing things together and making a hut and stuff really easily. I know guys who can do that in 5 minutes. I'll do it, but I'll be there in 4 days, having exhausted myself and nearly starved to death, wishing for McDonald's or something to come along.
So will you escape? Will you try and escape?
I can't swim far enough. I'd never be able to escape. No, I'll sit it out and wait for someone to come and rescue me. Hope that somebody will.
Right. I'll have a word with Eileen as well.
Yeah,
She's going to report you missing in the first place.
That would be good.
Yeah. Good. Okay, so you've now got not only a degree in law from the University of Cambridge, but you've got a year of travelling around and vast experience. Yeah. So now you move off into some fantastic job.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you? I sort of arrived home and didn't really know what to do with myself. So I sort of thought, I knew I didn't want to be a lawyer because I'd spent enough time with people studying it to know that just wasn't for me. I thought something more creative, really. So I looked at theatre, I looked at different stuff, and as I looked and as I pushed at doors, publishing sort of became a thing, and I thought, well, I quite fancy editing books for a living. I think that'd be quite fun. And I ended up, the long and the short of it was I did a 6-month publishing course, so I have a BTEC as well as my 2 degrees. So yeah, I did a publishing course, and I went and worked first for Usborne Books. So if you've got children, you will have at least one Usborne book, probably several in your home. I bet you don't have 101 things to do on the internet, which was my first one. They had me doing computer books for some unknown reason, which was the most dull thing. It was a fantastic company to work for, and friends of mine are still working there, which is brilliant. But I couldn't. It was hard work. They're very precise, so the book has to be completely 100% right when it goes out. And what anyone will tell you about me is I don't need everything I do to be completely 100% right when it goes out. And you kind of can't get away with that in this profession because you've got your deadline and your deadline's Sunday, and it's got to be near enough. And the perfectionists I know are the ones who are up all night on Saturday night, getting things ready, and I can't do that. So yes, I worked in publishing for about 7 or 8 years. I moved around a lot because that's the way things are in that world, or were then, and got made redundant 3 times, I think, which was a big blow the first time, but actually worked really well because I just carried on working. I went and worked freelance. So I moved around. I went from children's books to film and TV tie-ins, and then sort of general non-fiction. So I always describe it as the sort of book you would buy for somebody else, but not yourself. So I was the proud editor of Purple Ronnie's book of bottom burps and other deep poems about life, which is one I don't still have on my bookshelf, unfortunately. I edited a #1 bestseller, Gareth Gates, when he was huge, that one little Christmas where he was huge after he came second on Pop Idol. So the nonsense end of the spectrum, really. And my last job was with Virgin Books, where I did a lot of the Virgin Book of. And the last book that I commissioned, I was a commissioning editor by then, and I commissioned a book called The Alternative Wedding. So it was quite ahead of its time, really. That was about 2003. Just giving you know, we were just coming into the age where you could do whatever you liked for a wedding. And I got these two women journalists to write me a book they'd come to me with a book about hen nights. So I said, I love your book about hen nights. Can you do me a book about stag nights as well? They said, but we're girls. And I said, but do you know any boys? And they just produced these two hilarious and brilliant books. So I got them to do a book about weddings, which was fun.
Good. So I think the next piece of music is not from the nonsense end of the spectrum.
This really isn't from the nonsense end of the spectrum. So I love playing the piano, so I've got to have a piece of piano music on the island. And I love playing Rachmaninoff. But I love listening to Rachmaninoff because he had the most enormous hands, Rachmaninoff. So he wrote music that really only he could play. He could reach a 12th, I think, which if you tried to reach on a piano, I can reach an 8th. And to reach a 12th, he had huge hands. And this is just, if you're a certain generation, this is the music from Brief Encounter. But it's just for me, I wanted a piece of piano music that I can't possibly ever hope to play. And so this is his first movement of his second piano concerto.